Okay, picture this. You've just landed in an amazing new country, you're all set to go explore, you pull out your phone to check the weather, and what you see looks more like a math problem than a forecast. Don't worry, by the end of this, you'll be decoding international weather like you've been doing it your whole life.
So let's just jump right in with a little test. You see this on your phone, 28 degrees Celsius with 85% humidity. So what's the plan? Is that a perfect lay-on-the-sand beach day, or is it more of a let's find the nearest air-conditioned cafe kind of day? Tricky, right? Well, in just a few minutes, you're going to know the answer instantly.
All right, let's get into it. The first piece of our puzzle is the temperature itself. We've got to break down Celsius and figure out what that number actually feels like when you step outside.
You know, the great thing about the Celsius scale, which, by the way, is used by pretty much the entire world, is that it's just so logical. It's all based on water. 0 degrees is when water freezes. 100 degrees is when it boils. Simple. Fahrenheit, which you'll mainly see in the US, sets those same points at 32 and 212. It's just a different system, but for travel, Celsius is the one you really want to know.
Now, you could try to memorize the complicated formula to convert Celsius to Fahrenheit in your head, but let's be honest, you're on vacation. You're not there to do mental math. So we're going to skip that entirely and use a much easier method, just learning a few key benchmarks.
All right, let's start with our first benchmark, 30 degrees Celsius. Whenever you see 30 degrees or anything above it, I just want you to think one word, hot. This is your classic summer day. We're talking t-shirts, shorts, sandals for sure. This is definitely no jacket required weather.
Okay, next up on our list, 20 degrees Celsius.
20 degrees. Honestly, this is the sweet spot. This feels warm, comfortable, just incredibly pleasant. Think of a perfect spring day back home. It's the kind of weather where you can walk around in a t-shirt and just feel absolutely fantastic.
Let's cool things down a bit with our third benchmark, 10 degrees Celsius.
Okay, at 10 degrees, you're definitely going to feel a little chill in the air. It's cool, for sure. This is the point where you'll be glad you packed a light jacket, a fleece, or maybe a sweater before you head out the door. And for our last, and probably easiest to remember, benchmark, 0 degrees Celsius.
This one's a no-brainer. 0 degrees Celsius is literally the freezing point of water. It is cold. This isn't a suggestion. It's non-negotiable winter coat, hat, and gloves weather. Period. Okay, so you think you've got Celsius down, right? You've got your benchmarks, but hold on, because temperature? Well, it's only half the story. Now we need to talk about the secret ingredient that changes everything: humidity. So what even is relative humidity? Honestly, the easiest way to think about it is to imagine the air is a giant sponge. A humidity of 90% just means that air sponge is 90% full of water. Pretty simple, right? But here's the real kicker. That air sponge isn't always the same size. Warm air is like a much bigger sponge. It can hold way more water than cold air can. That's exactly why 80% humidity in a hot tropical place feels so sticky and heavy, while 80% humidity on a cool, foggy morning just feels damp. The warm air is holding so much more actual water.
So now we have the two pieces of our puzzle, the temperature and the humidity. Let's put them together and really understand why the number on the thermometer doesn't always match what your body is actually feeling. This is all about the feels-like temperature.
See, your body has this incredible built-in air conditioner. It's called sweat. When you get hot, you sweat. And that sweat is supposed to evaporate off your skin, which is a process that pulls heat away and cools you down. But, and this is a big but, when the air is humid, it's already saturated with water. That means your sweat has nowhere to go. It can't evaporate. So that whole cooling system just fails, and you're left feeling hot, sticky, and miserable.
And that is exactly why you hear people say this all the time, no matter where you are in the world. It's not just some old saying, it's a scientific fact. The amount of moisture in the air completely changes how you experience the heat.
Take a look at this. Let's take a beautiful 25 degrees Celsius, that's about 77 Fahrenheit. With low humidity, say 20%, it feels amazing. That's perfect weather for walking around a new city. But take that exact same temperature and crank the humidity up to 90%. Suddenly, that lovely day feels oppressive, heavy, and way hotter. Same number, totally different experience.
Okay, you made it. We've done the science, so now let's make this super practical. We're going to put it all together into a dead simple checklist you can use every single time you check the forecast.
This is your 60-second guide to never getting the weather wrong again.
Here it is. It's this easy. First, just look at the Celsius number and think of our benchmarks. Is it a 30, 20, 10, or 0 kind of day? Second, take a quick glance at the humidity percentage. And third, this is the most important part. If that humidity is high, say over 70%, just know in your head it's going to feel warmer than the number says. If it's low, it might even feel a bit cooler. And finally, you just pack your bag and plan your day based on that combined feeling, not just the temperature number alone. Simple as that.
So let's go all the way back to that first question. 28 degrees Celsius with 85% humidity. Well, now you know, right? 28 is already warm. It's getting close to our hot benchmark. And you add that super high 85% humidity on top, it's going to feel sticky and oppressive. Not the best day for a strenuous hike, that's for sure. You now have the power to understand the weather anywhere on Earth. You're a smarter, more prepared traveler. So the only question left is, where are you going to go next?